Man, we got a special guest today. For the viewers who may not recognize you, let them know who you are and definitely where you from.
Yeah. My name is David Ginlet. I'm from Columbus, Ohio. I lived in New York, and now I'm out in LA.
Oh, that's what's up, man. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, man. So I gotta ask you, how do you go from Columbus, Ohio, to making these major moves? Like, where did you start at?
Well, first I just gotta say OH to you, brother.
Oh yeah,
Um,
no doubts.
all day. I started off honestly doing like I was in high school and I was playing football, but I was also doing theater and choir and stuff like that. And then I started towards like junior senior year. I realized, oh, I'm actually pretty good at this thing. And then I didn't want to go to college, not really, but my mom said, hey, there is like you can go to school for acting and singing and stuff like that. So then I went to school at Kent State University. And then when I graduated, even before I graduated, I was already making trips to New York to be in some plays and stuff out there. So yeah, it was kind of like just the next step on the rung, just the next thing to do. I just gotta stay
Wow,
at it and keep moving.
that's what's up, man. Let me see now. Did you have any influences in your family? Are you the first person to kind of get into, the film industry, or?
Pretty much like I found out later, getting farther into my career, that I had cousins like that were out in LA doing some stuff, and a cousin that was like doing a show, but they were like second, third cousins that I never really met growing up. But no, I didn't have too many connections in New York. I hit the pavement and was going hard, hustling. I went to all these auditions in New York where you had to stay in line and you had to be there at like 5:30 in the morning to maybe be seen for a show. My first like 2 years, I was doing 130 auditions per year to book one, two jobs. You know what I mean? So
Wow.
yeah, I hit the pavement and I just said I'm going to make this happen no matter what. And every now and then God blessed me and said, "Keep going, my son." You know?
Man, that's inspiring. Like you say, 130, what you call them, auditions, and like you say, you got to get up early in the morning. There's hundreds and maybe even thousands of people, competing for one spot.
Hmm.
Yeah, man. So I got to ask you now. Now, how did you end up in New York? Did you like? Cause you hear a lot of stories about people getting into film. Like, did you just like pack your knapsack and hop on the Greyhound, or did you have friends and family there, or did you have a gig already set up, or?
I had friends that graduated a year before me that were living out there, and then I would call them and be like, "Hey, I just got an audition. Let me stay on your couch for like a week, 2 weeks, whatever, right?" And then I would take the Greyhound and or the China bus because the China bus was cheaper and to get there faster. It would be less safe, but it get you faster. So I would take the China bus most times. Sometimes I take the Greyhound and I just go from Columbus all the way out there. And then before I got a place out there, I would take it back.
That's
Yeah.
what's up, man. Big shout out to the China Buzz. A lot of people ain't here.
Shout out, shout out to the China bus, man. It was crazy too. Like those during the winter season, don't ever take the China bus, man. They be sliding, swerving. But at the time when you don't got no money, you gonna do whatever it takes to get there. You feel me? So, man, it was
Yeah,
worth it.
man.
But I'm glad I'm not in those days no more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was definitely worth it because a lot of times, when we watch TV, we watch our favorite shows, we just kind of take it for granted, like, oh, okay, TV, but people don't see all of that. They might think about the audition, but like you say, you on the bus, it's cold, it's icy, it's sliding, and you get let down. You try for 130 different roles, and then you finally do land one. Everybody don't get to see all of that struggle, and
Uh,
let me see.
but it becomes worth it. It becomes worth it in the end. You just gotta really, I think like the first 3 years of going after something, just don't expect nothing. Put your head down and just keep working, keep working. And if it's for you, things start happening. You know what I mean? Pop up. You start meeting people. Maybe they're having a reading at this theater or another reading at their house, and you just like, okay, let me see what happens. Keep making connections, and then over time, it just keeps expanding. You know.
Right, right. That's powerful, man, that you was able to stay motivated because I know a lot of people from Cleveland that was very talented, but that maybe they just didn't get their shot as fast as they thought they should have. if they just would have kept going, man, they ain't no telling where they could be at, you know. So a lot of people, I think that might be the one of their biggest hurdles, you know. They think they supposed to get on by this age. You know, you kind of put yourself in a box. Like if I ain't successful by this time, you know, they gonna go where the money is at, or they gonna go to another career or another way of life, you know.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Let me see. Now I can ask you, what do you feel like was your first big break? Like if your first, you know, shot.
Um, I feel like it depends. It's a couple, but like obviously Power Book Two. Power. I was in Power Book Two Ghosts, and that was just like I saw a visual difference between before and after I was on that production. You know what I mean? Or like the types of auditions I would get after that were way bigger projects, better like pay, all that was after, and just seeing the level of talent. Like you don't get it doesn't happen every day or even every year to be on a set with legends and like people who are literally at their prime doing a craft. You know what I mean? So like when I got to walk in there, I just like I saw greatness and I was like, oh, this is what performing at the top is like. Okay, let me learn all this so I can apply that moving forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, that's major because that's some people's favorite show. Like if they could watch one show, if they could pick one show, Power would be their number one show. And it's not only a legendary show, but it's like a brand. It's iconic now because you know they got so many different series, and to be a part of that legacy, man. What do that feel like? You know, because I'm sure you probably watched Power before you got the role. You know what I'm saying?
I watched it and it's so crazy. It's like I booked the show during the last season when they still were like, who's the one who killed Ghost? Who shot Ghost? So like I go to set and I'm reading the new script like, oh, this is what's happening. Like we have they have like read throughs every like I think Monday before they start shooting the new episode. They'll have a read through with the entire cast, and I'm sitting there like, oh, what's about to happen? And then they're like, oh, he did it. And I'm over here keeping it secret. Like I want to hit my friends up and tell them like, "Oh, bro, this was about to happen." But obviously you can't do that. So I'm just keeping it to myself. And it was so cool to see a person like he started off as just like a small character on the show, and then for him to get his own spinoff, and for him to go from like just like helping the show to the shows that revolved around him. And like I got to see his level up, which even helped me progress too. You see what I'm saying? So man, like to be a part of such a big franchise and a big name like that, it's one of the greatest honors I ever had in my life. I'm not even gonna front.
Yeah, man, that's an accomplishment people dream about, but you actually did that, man. And I remember, like you said, when Ghost was going through his thing, the internet was like in a frenzy. Everybody their mouths was watering to figure out what was gonna happen, and then for you to just be able to get a little intel on what's going on,
Yeah, yeah. And
that's
to
what's
see like
up,
these
man.
people, like the whole world's talking about your show, the whole culture, it's like the biggest thing on the market. And for you to have so much grace and class and just like they all had so much pressure on them, but they were just walking like sure-footed every step. Like it didn't feel too much to them. You know what I mean? Like, and this kid, like, he a man, but like he was like 19 when he took over the role, 19, 20. You see what I'm saying? You taking over a franchise at 19, 20, and you doing it with ease, low key. Like that's different. That's just different.
Yeah, yeah, that's pressure, man. Because the fans was hating on him. You know what I'm saying? But that's a lot of
Bro,
pressure, man.
and I don't think, in real talk, I don't think TV talks about it enough. To go from being one of the most hated TV characters and being so good at your job that everybody in the like that hated you was starting to ride for you and like, oh, they're going against Tariq, they gotta die. They gotta die. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't. I still to this day
Yeah.
want to do that. So.